welcome to the OtherWorldsGG Community Cast. This is episode number 15, and we are actually, in the recording process of things, definitely recording these things out of order because we have come back from a little over a month's hiatus of doing all this with transitions and things like that, so we're getting all of our energy out first before the news segment, so you guys are actually hearing this after we've already recorded the news, so a little funky today, but we figured it was probably for the best to get all of the excitement out of the way first. So here we are, episode number 15. I am Table for Two, and I'm joined by Mellified and Alien Pickle. How you guys been?
I have been delightful. Just it's been kind of a weird month. Lots going on, lots of projects that I've been working on. Not as much gaming probably as usual, but I've been doing a lot of gaming related hardware projects that I'll talk a little bit about.
Awesome. How you been, Jim?
I've been doing all right. Yeah, it's been playing a lot of Destiny lately because I was looking for something to just kind of put some grind time into, and it was like, I could play Destiny again. And then I jumped back in with the clan that I used to play, and it's like, well, they're like doing raids, about every other night and stuff. And I was like way under geared for that. So it's been the thing of like, we got to catch up. And then now that you've caught up, you're invested in the effort. Now you actually have to come with us and use it. It's like, oh, okay. So it's been kind of like an everyday thing for about a month.
Nice. Yeah, I've been going through some transitions with just life in general, with a move and new jobs and all kind of that stuff. So we're still technically in limbo on some of those things, but we're waiting for the new house to get some of its remodeling finished before we move in. And we're really excited because it's got a nice finished basement that I'll be able to deck out for all kinds of gaming funness. But I'm definitely looking forward to getting my main machine back out because even though this is a gaming laptop, it's a smaller screen. It's only one screen. I kind of miss having four. You don't realize how much you actually use four screens until you don't have them anymore. So yeah.
I will say I have gone to single screen sort of everywhere in my life, and I do miss having a small, even just a small second screen. Just before we started recording, I mentioned the Elgato Stream Deck that I have, and I like that for some things, but yeah, it's nice to have multiple monitors for sure.
So even at work, I've got two screens, so it's kind of funny coming home and I'm trying to just do everything on this one laptop screen. So I've been noticing a lot of feeling like I'm hunching over and standing up with like a sore back because I've got poor posture. But good news is though, despite all the weird shenanigans over the last month, I finally got stable internet, so I'm actually able to play some games and do some stuff online and hang out and actually chat with folks, which is why we're able to officially record a show today. So, or a couple shows today. So this is really good. Yeah, I haven't been doing a lot of serious gaming. I did get a little bit back into some Red Dead Redemption 2. And shockingly, I got into a little bit of Grand Theft Auto Online for a short bit there because they've got nuclear submarines now that you can buy and drive around, and I'm just waiting for the day that they put in like spaceships, because then it'll be Star Citizen and we can just call it a day, so.
I swear that they're gonna just have to drop zeros off of the amount of money everything costs in the game at some point, like a third world economy, with massive inflation, and they just re-index everything because they're up to like, oh, this paint job costs $1.3 million. It's just so absurd.
Yeah, there's a lot that they could do with their money stuff that they should probably readjust.
Well, there and Red Dead, they both multiplied. They put 2 zeros behind everything, basically. The difference between online price and offline.
Mm.
Yeah, because if you look at the catalog, it's like, oh, that's a $10 thing. oh, that's $1,000 thing if you go online. It's like really obvious that what they did.
Hmm.
I don't understand why they would escalate it so much, but sure. And GTA, man, just put the stock market in, please.
Well,
Yeah.
that is a thing though, because single player has that, and it would be interesting to see that in the multiplayer realm of things because I really wish they would invest more into like properties that you own that generate passive income kind of thing because they kind of do now, right? So they have the arcade thing, right? But in order to generate the maximum amount of like revenue from that, you have to own every single damn arcade machine, which means you have to spend all that money buying all of the arcade machines. Same thing with the nightclub. If you want to generate more money from the nightclub, you have to ensure the popularity of the nightclub stays up, and so you're constantly having to do missions in order to generate the quote unquote passive income. But I feel like, when you did Vice City, you used to be able to like own a business and you drive by and collect money and be able to do those kinds of things. So I wish they had more of that kind of stuff because it'd be interesting to see some kind of like little player economy thing going on in GTA. I think it would, but of course, they have the shark cards things that they got to keep up with. So who knows? They do have gambling in there now, so I mean, you can always go try and win your luck at, playing at the casino in game, which I find fascinating that no one's crying foul over from like you know the
Government regulatory
yeah, no
agencies.
kidding, yeah, it's weird, man. Like no one's saying anything about it. So I mean, people are covering it. People are talking about it in the community. But like when you talk about like the loot boxes and the literal like slot machines and like the NBA games and stuff like that, like they go after that stuff. But GTA adding in a casino, yeah, no one bats an eye.
It
So
does seem like a double standard.
it's a little strange, um, but yeah, Jim, you've also been dabbling a lot in the Mech Warriors too, haven't you?
For about a day and a half. Yeah. It was like I went back to Nexus DB. I was looking at like all the mods stuff and playing kind of a la carte with the mods. And then I found out that the Merc mod has kind of like encompassed almost all the other ones. But Merc was doing some really weird stuff with especially the autocannon damage. So I ended up joining their Discord, which got me actually talking to the developer and the choices that he'd made about what kind of damage model stuff. And it was basically like when he says tabletop, he's actually saying like, well, if this is a 20-point weapon but a combat round is 10 seconds, so by tabletop I'm going to divide this 20-point weapon in by like tenths, right? And then we apply that damage like over the seconds that's in a round. So it's really like my autocannon was doing like 10% of the damage that it should. And it was like, well, no wonder I can't kill anything with this, right? It's like, okay, well, that's a choice I don't agree with, but obviously it's intentional. So cool. But he put modifier stuff in there where I can actually change that myself now. So it's cool. But the version that's up on Nexus mods is actually 6 months out of date. So you have to actually join the Discord and then look in the pin channel up above for the new versions where all the bug fixes and stuff are. Which started a conversation between Table and I about how we're getting into the mod scene getting decentralized, where it's not all like everybody just goes to ModDB or you go to Nexus mods or whatever. It's like now you actually have to go to the developers to get it in their Discord.
Right. Well, and I'm seeing that too in a lot of like the emulation space, for like old MMOs, for example. Like if you want to get like the latest build of like a server or something like that, you actually have to go into the developers Discord and find the GitHub link and blah blah blah. So like there's no, because there was the SWG source guys who are like they're kind of like the Star Wars Galaxy's version of Switzerland. They're neutral to all of the other like parties that are building Galaxy's servers and stuff like that. Like they used to have like a website and forums and like they had links and all that stuff, but they've since like just translated all of that stuff to their Discord server. Because then that way you don't
Hmm.
have to pay for like the hosting of a website and forums and those kinds of things. So it's real interesting to see that kind of shift in this direction. Whereas I still believe forums have a place, which is, I guess why at one point we were trying to do the gilded thing. But, everybody seems to like being over here. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm fascinated that sites like Nexus that give away, free access to people and free hosting aren't, just the easy solution. But I guess maybe they have their own, politics and whatever else.
Well, you have better engagement when you know who your audience is because your audience is there. You don't really see your audience or interact heavily enough with your audience on a third-party website. Whereas, it's like Discord is just like the place that everybody seems to be converging on. Or, I hear it in casual conversation. Well, we could spin up a Discord and talk about X, Y, and Z. Or, I've talked ad nauseum in the past about how I've got like friends who like each one of my friends has their own Discord, and it's just like, well, whose Discord are we playing on tonight? And it's just like, Jesus, can we just like pick one and like kill the rest or something? Like, it's a lot, and everybody wants to be the king of their own little castle. So I don't
When
know.
I've seen that in some discords that I'm a member of, that you'll have like a large group of people, and then a subset of the people will be like, well, there's too much bullshit in here, so let's make our own off to the side. It'll be like it's the same Discord, but we'll just like handpick the people that we want in it because we don't want all these knuckleheads. And then you'll find out that there's like 10 different satellite discords that have fragmented off from the main thing, and everybody still hangs out in the main one, but you don't realize all the other ones are there until you start getting invites to them, and it's just like, oh god, now it's way too much to keep up with.
Right, because now you're in like all of these other discords that have magically this like the same group of people in almost all of them, and you're like, what the hell's going on? And yeah, it gets really strange. So I've definitely been a part of that though, in some ways or another. And it happened a couple months ago, like before we moved, where someone's like, "Hey, we're gonna play Among Us," but like they're over on like my wife's Discord server, and it's just like, man, not like like what was wrong with yours? Like I'm not adding another one. I already have like a bazillion of them that I'm trying to keep up with, so I'm good.
Yeah, it's like when you say server, you meant to say channel because she needs her own channel, not
Right.
necessarily her own entire Discord server.
Right. And you go over there and it's literally just the voice and just the text channel. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like and so it's kind of goofy like that. And I think people also tend to forget there's also the private groups and like the like the messaging stuff like that in Discord. Um I mean, I love Discord and I love, a lot of things that you can do with it, but I definitely feel like there's a lot of features that are missing from it that would be really handy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like pinning stuff in a channel is not a good way to like get people's attention to a thing.
Well, in pinning, Discord does a terrible job of exposing new pins and things like that. It's just this little icon up in the corner that you have to go look for. And it's unique to each channel. So you have to remember to like click through every channel and check every pin, which is silly. They need to, overhaul that, I think. And that
Yeah,
would make a
hugely.
big
It should
improvement.
it should be like you can attach documents to a channel or something or whatever, and then I could just take like here's Google Docs, and I've pinned them up at the thing,
Mm-hmm.
but there's
Well,
actually like a drop down bar that's like here's all the docs.
I think instead of all of the because bots handle a lot of things. People make all kinds of bots for stuff. I mean, like we use the Me6 bot, here in our Discord, for example. But it'd be really nice if they had maybe more integration type stuff. Where you can do like you can customize your Discord server a little bit more than just the standard um, channels on the left, chat in the middle, members on the right. That Also,
Yeah.
the standard like light and dark themes aren't enough. There needs to be, and of course, Jim, you found that whole like third party group that you can CSS modify the crap out of your Discord to make it look way different, which is
Yeah.
cool. But apparently, Discord doesn't like you doing that. But it's like,
No, they
hey,
prefer that you get eye cancer from their themes, so they would.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, it's better Discord, but like you're talking about splinter Discords. So better Discord forked, and now there's like better Discord other project,
like plus
right?
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange, man. Like,
Yeah.
and I get it. It's really weird when you have these like little niche communities where, and again, we've talked about it before, ego gets in the way, and someone gets a stick up their butt about something, and they, it's like, well, we're gonna go and have a better time over here, and it's like, well,
Well, it's kind of like Microsoft, right? They've had Skype, but they were like, hey guys, Skype's cool, and then we made Teams, but I think we should switch to Discord. Anybody got $10 billion?
I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they've put
No?
I think they've put a lot of investment into Teams, and they're gonna continue to move in the Teams direction. I don't think.
I just wonder if they want to acquire Discord in order to bake it into Teams and integrate
No.
it to Xbox.
If they do anything with if Microsoft buys Discord, and if they have it integrated with anything, the only thing that I think that they're ever going to integrate it in is going to be the gaming side of things. I don't think it's ever going to touch Teams.
Well, Teams VoIP sucks. Discord's is better. So I feel like they would just take the tech parts out of the back end and integrate it. Teams has had a lot of problems, especially with COVID and everybody starting to work from home, and we have like Teams outages continuously at work. We'll get an email. It's like, hey, Microsoft put out a notice. Teams is jacked up again. So don't panic if your meetings all fail today. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Meanwhile, I'm on Discord with everybody, right? No problems. Discord pretty much. Discord, it used to be purely gaming, and then with the pandemic stuff, then it's become everything, right? People are using it for business, they're using it for school stuff. They're doing everything with it. So at that point, it became more than the gaming platform, but they actually managed to scale with the load, which is crazy, because I guess they would be getting a certain amount of money, right? Because certain channel features, you pay for them. But I would say 99.9% of people are freeloaders, right? So if you multiply that by like 1,000 times new people, I'm surprised it didn't just clobber the platform.
Well, what's interesting about Discord, and I'll make the comparison to Twitch here in just a second. But what's interesting about Discord, with them going in that direction, I don't think there's necessarily a problem with them trying to open up their platform and cater to like a generalized audience. But when your platform was initially built to be aimed at a very specific audience, and your themes and your icon and everything is kind of like geared towards like the gaming community and the gaming world, and yet you're saying, oh well, we're for everybody. You can still be for everybody, but like pick your audience, because if you're saying your audience is the whole world, that can certainly have a bad impact on your bottom line. And maybe to you it makes you more money, but I think of Twitch in the same light. Now, I've got no issues with the kind of contents that people want to stream. I just think that on Twitch, I know Twitch was kind of a mold from Justin TV, and Justin TV wasn't always necessarily about gamers. But when you look at like what Twitch TV kind of like started out as and became, it was definitely geared towards the gamer, right? And you look at all of like the Twitch Prime rewards, and you look at all the like the Twitch loot and all of those things. It's catered to one very specific audience, and I think this whole like a catering to any type of streamer out there kind of becomes a little, you're trying to become YouTube. Well, it ain't gonna happen. You know.
Right.
So it's just I just find it strange in those regards, because it's like when YouTube tried to specifically go and do the YouTube gaming thing, it didn't really work out for them. It was just like, just keep doing what you're doing, YouTube, and let people stream to your platform, and don't have some kind of, you know, you are a broad sense like location. Stay a broad sense location, you know, and let gamers still stream to your platform. You don't need to spin up some kind of like side thing for that. But I think in terms of like what Twitch is doing, you know, there's a lot going on there that's not gaming too. And
right. Well, I think one of the things, like Twitch, as part of their like Twitch rewards program, you can get a discount on like a bedroom hot tub with a green screen behind it.
Oh,
that is not true.
Oh no.
True.
Oh
Okay.
no.
But yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I struggle with Discord personally is they made a big announcement pre-COVID that they were going to pivot away from being just gamer centric to being trying to compete in the business space, because that's where the money is. And I worried, and I still see evidence that transition has not resulted in a whole lot of improvements to Discord lately. I think, you know, now they're just worried about scaling, and to your point, they've done a good job, Jim, but I don't know. I feel like Discord's heart is in the wrong place. They are running off of VC capital still. All of the reason they can give the service away for free effectively is because they're spending other people's money to do it.
Right.
And that gravy train's going to run out.
Well, and the whole idea of that business model is, let's create a thing that we can't afford to run. And we're not going to like create a job for ourselves, but we're just creating a company that's a cool idea. We're going to grow a lot of users, because user acquisition is the hardest part of a service. And then once we have a user base, we're going to sell that. And that's our exit strategy. And it's like, I've worked for like startups that had exactly that plan before. And like the discussion, you know, with the board was always that, like, okay, well, when's our exit gonna, you know, like, how long do we have to sit on this egg to hatch it? You know, can we try to get acquired by HP or Dell or something?
Yep. Well, and that's what Discord's been doing for their whole existence, just nobody's bitten.
Yeah.
So, and I think that was the pivot into the business space, was to try to make them more attractive.
Well, that's the problem, is they're going to go away eventually if they don't start charging something from somebody, because that money's going to run dry.
They tried going into like becoming a game store, and that failed like fast. I was shocked at how I knew it was going to fail, but I was shocked at how quickly it failed, because like it came and went rather fast. And like I still have a couple, because I guess they gave away a couple of games for free or something like that at one point. So I still have a couple of, or maybe it was like a Twitch thing where it was like, get this game on Discord.
So what was the deal though? Because it was like Amazon had Curse, right, and then rolled that into Twitch. Is that kind of what's going on there?
That was the theory, but what they ended up doing was shutting down Curse's social platform, and then all the other pieces of Curse that came with that acquisition, because Curse owned Gamepedia and had a Curse mods, the mod platform, things like that. So all that stuff got sold off over the last 4 years.
So I feel like, because Curse used to have a very Discord like chat feature in it, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was very competitive.
Yeah. So I feel like Twitch really screwed up, because they cut that part out, and that's actually what Twitch kind of needs. Because if you took Discord and then stuck Twitch in it, so that it's like, not only is my Twitch channel where you come to watch my thing, but it's also my Discord right, with all my stuff, and everybody's in Discord, but you have people that are in Discord and then they're watching Twitch in another window, and hey, let's just mash those things together, right? So that
Well,
we get this giant user base.
it would be
Well,
interesting though. Like you go to a streamer's Discord, and if they're streaming, it like just shows at the top of the Discord, and you can just like you can watch it right there. I mean,
right,
that'd be pretty cool.
And Curse, when it became the Twitch app, started dropping a lot of those social features, and now the Twitch desktop app really bears no commonality with the old Curse app. But that's exactly what they did for a while.
Well, that and the Twitch thing used to also be like, if you were doing Minecraft mods and stuff, like that was the way to get it, right?
Yep.
But now it's like, well, it was the Curse app, and then it became the Twitch mod app, and then you wouldn't launch stuff from Twitch anymore because apparently Overwolf is doing that now. So that whole community is moving to Overwolf, which Overwolf used to just be an overlay that was like, you're in Discord and it will show the overlay of who's talking in the corner of your game, right? But I think Overwolf was more like for what, TeamSpeak or something? What it bundled with?
Yeah, something like that. It was sort of this generic overlay solution.
What was that?
Curse.
I was
Twitch sold some of their tech to Overwolf, which I think is included the mod stuff, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I just wonder what the hell is Overwolf doing for money, because you can't get a lot of money just being an overlay solution, but now they're like a mod house, and that doesn't really make a lot of money either. So are they just cruising on VC money too forever until they find a home?
What I was gonna say was what was the social, like, gamer social, like, platform back in the day? It started with, I feel like it started with an X.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I do, but I don't remember the name of it now.
Like that used to be a thing where, like, you had your friends on, and you'd like have your you had your stuff linked to it. So like when you're playing a game, you could see what they're playing, and you could like launch the game from it and play with them.
Yeah, AMD bundled with one of them for a while, because that was how they did GeForce. Has their app that goes in and modifies the INI files for your games to optimize the settings. And AMD did it with a third party, which was one of those gamer social platforms, but I can't remember the name of it now.
Was it Xfire?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it's still there. Xfire.com. Hottest gaming news, esports coverage.
Wow, really? It's still around?
Sorta.
Yeah, and it used to be I remember that used to be like the thing where like a lot of clans would gather around, and like different gamer clans and stuff like that. But I do remember this because it was in early 2000s. Oh god, it got acquired by Viacom in 2006. Weird. On May 7th, 2007, Xfire announced that they had reached 7 million registered users. Shortly after, on June 13, 2007, co-founder and former CEO Mike Cassidy departed the company to work for venture capital firm Benchmark Capital. In 2010, Xfire was acquired by Titan Gaming. And then in 2015, Xfire announced that its social services would shut down on Friday, June 12th, which was only a 2-day notice, apparently.
Yeah, well, I went to Xfire's website, and it's basically like a gaming blog, and I was like, wait, what? But this is their name. Like, why is this blog using it?
As of June 1st, 2020, the Xfire domain is owned by a website that functions as a directory for online gambling sites and online casinos. The domain itself redirects to a subpage of that website explaining that Xfire was and offering alternatives to it.
Yeah, but now if you go to xfire.com and read, it says, our name may be familiar to some who've been gaming for a while. Xfire was a messaging and application service designed with gamers in mind, launched back in 2003. And they talk about like 21 million users, blah blah blah. The once beloved service was eventually shut down in coughing. The once beloved service was eventually shut down in 2016, with many other services continuing to bear the torch. Now Xfire is reborn like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Under new management unrelated to the original creators of the messaging service, Xfire isn't trying to race the same competitors that outperformed it years ago, being Discord and Twitch. Instead, we've changed gears, but our fingers still firmly planted on the pulse of the video game world. You won't be using Xfire to chat with your guildmates anymore, but we will still be posting all the deep scoops and breaking news as it happens, as if anybody gave a shit at all.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Oh yeah, and they're using Discourse as their forum. They actually have a Discourse forum.
Well, yay. I don't know that we need another gaming news site, but
yeah,
okay.
We need that like we need another gaming podcast. Jesus.
Those assholes. Yeah.
Whoops.
Well, so we talked a little bit about your move table. But we also have had quite a rash of internet issues for a couple of you. And I thought that might be my internet's been working fine, knock on wood, for the most part. But I thought it would be interesting.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that movie The Ring, right? Where I watched the tape and my internet died. So then I had to have Hunter's internet die in order to get mine to fix itself.
Right.
It's something like that.
So it's like, here, download this file. Sorry.
So it's really goofy because like I moved from like the suburbs of Charlotte where I had gigabit internet, bilateral gigabit internet up and down, and it was like, woo, I can do all things, man. And then
now you're in the suburbs of a cornfield.
Now I'm in the suburbs of a cornfield up in Ohio, and there's like local ISPs all over the place. And man, like when I used to have, so years ago, I used to live up this way before, and I had this ISP, and they were fine. Like back when I was doing podcasting with Jim on a different podcast, like that's the ISP I had before. Never had issues with them, right? But man, I come up here and it's just like they've been having a lot of like infrastructure expansion and problems, and some of their stuff they haven't updated in like 16 years. And Lordy Pete, like I was having internet issues. Like it was funny because like I'd be here having a conversation with like Jim and Mellified, and then my conversation like that would just cut out. It's just like there'd be that silence out of nowhere, and I wouldn't be talking anymore.
We just thought you'd like had a stroke, so it's good that it turned out to be your internet.
Well, it turns out I did at one point. No, I'm just kidding. No. So yeah, but I know the guys who work at the ISP, and I've got other friends who know some of like some other people at the ISP as well. So like they're getting some things squared away and taken care of. But good news is once the house is done, we move into it in a couple of weeks here. We'll be able to get on Spectrum's like really good internet out there, so we're gonna be good. But man, for a couple of weeks there, like, well, I lasted a week without having any internet at all, and at that point I was like bouncing off the walls with just like itching for something.
I'm laughing because I'm impressed you made it a week.
My wife was too. She was like, I'm surprised you lasted that long.
So, I mean, I have tethering on my phone. I have not one, not two, but 3 different hotspots in my family.
Oh my gosh.
One is work, one is personal Verizon, and one is personal AT&T. Because when we go in the RV, we switch back and forth either to avoid data caps or get, different areas have better signal with Verizon or AT&T. So I can't even leave the house without bringing an extra internet with me.
Right. Well, and so, I lasted a week, finally got internet, and then, I started running into these internet problems where, like the first night I had internet, I think it was maybe the second night, like I get on to play Sea of Thieves with Mellified, and Kitten, and or no, it wasn't Kitten. It was one of the other ones. But anyway, we were trying to play, and I just like at any random time, like Xbox voice would just like stop working, and they couldn't hear me anymore, and I was just standing still on the ship, not moving anymore, and then I'd pop right back in, like, wasn't a big deal. It just, it got weird, and so it definitely made for doing anything online a challenge. So
yeah, well, one of the things we were talking about before we started recording was now at least it's consistent. And
right, yeah.
I wanted to mention, like, a lot of the algorithm stuff can handle packet loss. They can handle, delay, but they can't handle variable delay, variable packet loss. That just throws them for a loop. So it's actually really good if it's consistent, at least.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm at a point now where like I could actually play, and like I was able to jump online the other day and play a little bit of GT Online with Jim and kind of show him my submarine with my Russian comrade. So it's
is that what we're calling it? Your submarine?
Hey, but no, yeah, I'm glad things are functional again. We got on and played a little bit of zombies last night. Even though, and that was another weird thing. I just for a tangent for a second, Call of Duty, Activision, what the hell is with you guys? What is with this like loading shaders bullshit that you guys have to do? Like, I expect something like this from an emulator. Like, if I'm doing like, like a Wii U emulator or something like that, I expect it to buffer and load my shaders in. But from like a AAA game, like what the hell?
Because nobody understands how to Vulkan. I think that's what it is.
Or something like it.
Because Vulkan makes you, unlike DirectX, Vulkan you have to precompile shaders. But it's like precompiled per machine, per your options, whatever, how it bakes it. So it's like every time you change your video options, it's going to recompile your shaders, and it's kind of terrible.
Yeah, I guess it's literally some of the worst stuff ever. So like, I'm trying to play zombies last night with Mellified, and like half of my stuff's not showing. So it's like I have a gun in my hand, but all I see is the scope. It's just like, okay,
and that further discourages, like on consoles, from being able to ever have video options, right? Like on a PC, we're used to it. It's like, oh yeah, I could turn the shadows up or down. I could make trade-offs. So I want a little bit of more frame rate, and I'm willing to sacrifice anti-aliasing or whatever.
Sure.
But on a console, it is what it is, right? Deal with it. And if we let you even like adjust the volume of the music separate from the game sound, then you are truly blessed. You should kiss our ass for such an option, right?
I think that's starting to change, especially with the Series X, where you're starting to get, favor frame rate, favor performance, favor graphics, things like that.
But the thing is, especially with Vulkan in the market now, if the consoles let you screw around with options in the video, then don't be surprised whenever you go back to the main menu of the game after exiting the options, and it's like, hey, sit here for 10 minutes while we recompile your shaders, bro. Because they can bake the shaders in if you don't have any option to change them. They know what your stuff's going to be.
Right. Well, they know exactly which graphics card it is, too, right?
Yeah, so PC, we have variant hardware with variant options, so we have to actually calculate that stuff, and you have to calculate it ahead because it's not sloppy like DirectX.
Well, here's the bizarre thing that I was just having frustrations with is I'm on a gaming laptop. It's got a GTX 1050 in it, which is it's a humbling experience, but it's not a terrible card. Like, it can still do a lot. As a matter of fact, I can play.
You mean once you find the button that turns on the gaming feature?
That was a Windows thing, but yes, exactly, yeah. But once I had turned on that, my experience was actually really solid. Because there's actually two GPUs, right? There's like the Intel GPU, and then there's the like NVIDIA GPU. And so, once I got that running, so like I can run GTA almost completely at max settings. It's actually quite shocking, really. But I actually had Call of Duty Black Ops with the settings pretty much all the way down, and it still took it like half an hour to compile all those shaders on this thing. It was weird.
I left Call of Duty open for 20 or 30 minutes, tabbed out yesterday after we played to let it finish compiling the shaders. But mine weren't done, but I still didn't see the behavior that you did where things were just missing. I felt like I saw everything. So I don't know.
You guys were
quite what
talking
the
about
deal
like
was.
you were talking about the monkey in the crate on like on the thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even see that. They were just I saw so there's like lights on that on
Vehicle.
that vehicle or whatever. All I saw were like the light effects that were coming up. Like so I
Oh.
knew where it was because I could see the little light balls like from where like the lights are supposed to be emanating from, like moving around. Yeah, that so it was really weird. It was just like it was really bizarre.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So but anyway, like it's just a side tangent. Like Activision really gets frustrating for me on some of this stuff, and it'd be nice just to see some kind of an improvement from that. But yeah.
Well, uh, I'll share my $100 boondoggle. I have a pretty complicated setup here that I'm working on. I'm trying to get a way to play every game sort of ever made playable on original hardware or a simulation of the original hardware with FPGA. And in order to facilitate that, I have a 16 port HDMI KVM. So I can switch between all these different HDMI devices. And somehow, somewhere along the way, I plugged the GameCube HDMI cable into the port that I had my PS2 on, and I couldn't figure out why the PS2 wasn't working. And I ended up it's very common with the PS2, especially the older fat models, for the AV port to break. So I thought that's what it was at first, and I bought a new one off eBay for like $60. Then I got it and it still wasn't working, but it came with the old school yellow, white, red, composite video cable, which I had thrown mine away because who the hell wants one of those? But I had the TV that would actually take that signal. So I plugged in both of them and they both worked. So I knew, okay, well, the AV port's not bad. So ultimately what I figured out was I plugged GameCube case. Somehow I pulled cables out accidentally and I plugged them back in thinking I got them all right, and I got them wrong. So I now have an extra HDMI adapter for the PS2 because I bought one thinking that was part of the problem, and an extra PS2. So I have a backup, I guess.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Well, yeah, I was very embarrassed when I sort of ultimately figured out what the hell I had done, and yeah, it's just I'm gonna have to like make a routine of going through, turning on every single console and cycling through the KVM periodically to make sure that they're all hooked up where I think they are and that they're all working and everything else. So I've been working with a buddy of mine here in Austin who does a lot of retro stuff. The Retro Game Champion is his he is, as he is known. And so I'm going to loan him my Jaguar and my Mister for a while so he can go through and do some sets for ROM sets for those older systems. And I'm terrified of shipping my Jaguar because they're very prone to breaking. So I think we're going to meet up and do an in-person handoff. But yeah, it's easy to like get it all set up and working and then go on to the next thing. And then by the time you come back to that system you started with, it's like cables have been yanked out, or the power cords come loose, or God knows what. So,
well, it could be worse. You could have blown the power supply on original Xbox.
oh
Oh
my
wait,
God.
you did, didn't you?
I did. Well, I fried it, yeah, because I dropped the hard drive into the coil or something in there. So yeah, I've burned through some hardware. But that's the fun of like opening these systems up. I'm sure I haven't even tried to see if I could fix that old Xbox, but I will at some point. So
that's funny. Yeah, I've got a couple of old consoles too that I'm looking forward to getting back out and getting set up properly and getting them in the mix, because also to get my projector out and get it all nice and set up and use that with some of this stuff too. So
yeah, well, my big thing is I want to be able to stream all these old systems. There's so many cool games, and so just figuring out how to do the HDMI conversion in a with decent quality has been a really long journey for some of these systems. So.
Well, I mean, you and I talked about though trying to get some of these old systems linked up with Xlink Kai so that way we can play some of these old school games over the internet together.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is also a big thing. It is. Kai. I think Xlink Kai has done a good job of making it as easy as possible, but it's a little confusing because they kind of support multiple modes, and then they support multiple modes on multiple consoles, and they all behave a little bit differently. So yeah, it's just you kind of have to spend some time digging in.
There's something to be said about playing, not only just playing like a retro game, say like, I mean, it's hard to say, but it really is at this point a retro game, but like Halo 2 on the original Xbox, right? So like taking Halo 2 on the original Xbox, yeah, we can still play it and we can keep it alive, but not only that, we can play it online with people. It's just like that.
Well, that was
mindset.
such a big part of the experience back in the day, right?
Right. Yeah. And not just that, but like some other games too that definitely have the online functionality. Systems like the PS2 and I believe even GameCube that had some online functionality, like they support some of that stuff. They even support some of the more modern consoles too with some things. So, which is pretty awesome. So props off to those guys for like keeping that kind of thing going. So, oh, I think what was it? Mario Kart Double Dash is one that you can do, which is just that kind of just blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah. The crazy thing is the Game Boy. I'm sorry, the GameCube broadband adapters are more than the GameCube.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, and the crazy thing too is you can hook up the Xlink Kai to the Dolphin emulator and use the Dolphin emulator with someone playing on an actual GameCube. Like that to me is just so cool. Like the functionality of all of that is just really nifty.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I am excited to like kind of get my permanent setup going in here for all this stuff so that it's really easy to jump in and kind of go, hey, let's play, let's go back and play some original Xbox game online together. Let's go play, Mario Kart Double Dash. Let's go play old Mario Party games.
Crimson Skies,
Yes. Well, the servers unfortunately are down for that one, so I'm not sure if I think we can do System Link, but yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, the one other thing I was going to share, the Microsoft recently released an Xbox wireless headset for.
Oh yeah, you were excited about that one, weren't you?
I was, yeah, because it was $99, which is reasonably priced. It has the game and voice mix feature where you can have your game sound. Well, the way I've normally seen it done, I should say, is you have your game sound on one input, you have your voice chat on another input, and then it has a built-in mixer to go between the two, so that if somebody you're playing with is a little quiet, you can make them louder and make the game quieter, vice versa. And I have that on my Astro A50s, which I am a big fan of and use, but they're not cheap. They're expensive headset. And so to get this on $100 item was really appealing because I have 3 kids and they are hard on. They are surprisingly able to break just about anything. And the Astro A50s that I've handed down to them have in many cases not survived the experience. So I was excited to have something inexpensive that I could give them, and it's wireless, which I despise having wires hanging off of my head. It's just something about that experience drives me up the wall. So I really feel very passionately about being wireless. I did not have good luck with these on the PC. I will preface this by saying I haven't done much with them on the Xbox side. And the reason I haven't done much with them on the Xbox side is because I had such a bad experience on the PC. It sort of made it really inconvenient to use them on the Xbox, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. So on PC, these headphones have Bluetooth. So the idea is you would connect them as a Bluetooth audio device to Windows 10, and the way that Microsoft's FAQ reads, and I read this very closely, was if you're using Bluetooth, you only have a single audio input and output, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it would work, right? And the kids use Discord on the PC. They're playing games on PC quite a bit. 2 of the 3 of them. So this was kind of my primary use case. And what I actually found was I ended up with 3 Bluetooth devices, a mic, and then 2 weirdly named, what I assume are voice and chat, but they're not called voice and chat. They're something bizarre. I don't remember quite what it was. But they didn't work. They just didn't work consistently. You'd send audio to one device and nothing would happen. You wouldn't hear anything. They were really problematic on Bluetooth pairing. When you'd wake them up, it wouldn't always reconnect. You'd have to go in and manually remove and re-add the Bluetooth device. So it's just a really bad experience. And I thought, okay, well, Microsoft advertises these as working on the Xbox. And from what I'm reading, they should work with the Xbox wireless adapter for PC. So I got 3 of those. They're $25 a piece on top of the $100. But I got 3 of those, hooked them up for each of the kids, and paired the headphones to that rather than to Bluetooth. And it worked better. It's certainly more reliable. It has generally been more consistent. However, Microsoft's FAQ says that you will get multiple audio devices, one for game, one for voice. In fact, what I get is Xbox wireless controller is the name of the one device for input and the one device for output. So you can't do the mixing, from what I can tell, which kind of defeats the purpose, in my opinion. I haven't tried pairing them up with the Xbox, so it may very well be that it is actually works great on Xbox. But one of the things I liked about it was all the kids have an Xbox and a PC. So if they've been able to use the Bluetooth to connect to the PC and then use the Xbox to connect to the Xbox protocol to connect to the Xbox, they wouldn't have to do anything to switch between the 2 devices. But since I found I had to use the Xbox wireless adapter for PC to get them to connect consistently, that kind of went out the window. So I am hoping that some of this is, I mean, Bluetooth is friggin' disaster in general.
Yeah, I feel like Bluetooth has actually gotten worse. Like there was a period of time where I felt like it was fine, and then all of a sudden, like over the last year or so, I feel like Bluetooth has just definitely gotten really bad.
It's the proliferation of devices that use it, and they're all using different chipsets, and there's all these little implementations, slightly different, I think. So all of which is to say, at the end of the day, I think Bluetooth is a disaster anyway. So I won't blame Microsoft for Bluetooth being a shit show. However, using Microsoft's proprietary adapter, I would have expected this to be flawless. And the audio has been, but the mix, like I say, the mixing doesn't show up as two separate devices. So I can't tell Discord use voice chat and then tell Call of Duty use game. If that makes sense. And then I can mix between them independently.
What kind of headset did you get?
It's the Microsoft Xbox wireless headset.
Okay.
This is the name of it.
So I have the same situation on my Arctis 7s because they're the Xbox version of the Arctis. So I have the two channels, right? And then I can increase game sound or voice sound with the little roller thing on it, right?
Okay, yeah.
Except on the PC side, I only have a single device. It doesn't split it. And if I had got the Arctis 7s that are PC, then I would have two devices, but it doesn't work with the Xbox. So
that's obnoxious.
Yeah, so it's the exact same deal. So it's Xbox doesn't use the same two device system somehow, and PC just apparently can't figure it out or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
that's
weird.
That's frustrating.
But the thing on PC, like I tried using Bluetooth, and Bluetooth has such a delay on PC, at least for me, that like I'll click to shoot something, and then after the bullet hits, I'll hear the gunfire. Right.
Well,
and it's like,
so that's the thing about Bluetooth that I was also trying to get at. If it's like Bluetooth built into a laptop or Bluetooth built into a desktop, I have perfect Bluetooth functionality. Like I can pair my Xbox controller like Bluetooth to my thing, or like anything Bluetooth to my laptop, and it's fine. I've literally had no problem with it. But when it's like a YouTube when it's a Bluetooth dongle or some kind of like weird adapter for a device, that's when things get funky. I
don't have a problem with controllers on it, but the headphones are delayed as hell. Like there's like a 20 millisecond delay or something. It's very noticeable. Like I can get killed by something before I hear it. And it's like, well, that's a problem. So, but with the Arctis headphones, and I got Joan a set of the HyperX Cloud Flight things, which is their wireless ones, also uses a 2.4 gigahertz dongle on it, and they're perfect. And you can go like clear across the house before the audio breaks, right? So it's really good. And I'm also surprised that I can have multiple 2.4 devices in the same room and they don't step on each other. So that's kind of interesting. But even with her headphones, the volume is kind of low, right? Like you can't turn them up to the point where you're like, oh, I should turn it down. It's kind of like it gets loud enough, but PC volume sliders 100%, the headphones are 100%. And it's like, okay, this is about as loud as I would want it, but there's no overhead on that. Like if something's actually quiet, you can't turn it up,
Right.
So,
right.
yeah. So then I ended up on mine. I had to go out and get like an open source third-party mixer tool, and that actually had like a general gain setting for all channels, so I could do the mixer thing and also just boost everything. And now it's like loud enough, I could make my eyes bleed from the headphones being so loud. But it's like I guess they just limit the hell out of them because of like, fear of lawsuits of people like blowing their ears out or something.
I guess, but that sounds really, that's interesting. Well, I would say, Microsoft will probably be able to address some of these things through firmware updates. I just don't know. And they got generally good reviews for the audio quality. So I don't know if I just am having a weird experience, but this is across two different brands of computers, three different installation, or two of them are the same hardware, but different Windows installs. So I feel like my experience was, pretty representative, of the actual product. And I had three different headphones. It's not like one set was just bad. So.
Well, hopefully, something kind of resolves with that. I mean, like you said, you would think if it's like a Microsoft Direct adapter, it'd be fine, but
Well, and like I say, the audio is good. It's just the features that they specifically said.
Right,
oh yeah, you'll be able to,
right.
you'll see multiple input devices or output devices on Windows, and I don't. And it's like, okay, well, is the FAQ wrong or is the product not working? But there's no like obvious way for me to update that little dongle that's attached to the PC or anything. So I have no idea.
Right.
And to be fair, I have not called Microsoft support and asked and they actually are generally decent in my experience. I know Pickle, you've had a mixed review.
You'd call it mixed.
Well, they got it fixed, to be fair, right?
Well, no, I fixed it because what I ended up doing.
Oh, that's
they
right.
bailed out. They gave up. So the problem was I bought the Xbox. The Xbox comes with 2 years of Game Pass. It's a like a code that's embedded in the Xbox. So you just say what's included with my Xbox. Hey, there's this thing. Do you want to redeem it? Click yes. There was a problem. Please call tech support. Okay, I'll try it again. There was a problem. Please call tech support. And it's like I can't get past that. So it's like, all right. So I get a hold of the tech support guy and I'm talking in chat. And first off, their thing was I forget what it was called, but it was like some initials for like Microsoft something AI, right? And the guy who came on the chat, his name was the same as what the initials were for the AI at the top title thing. So I thought I'm talking to the AI and I'm like, can I talk to a human? And he's like, I am. And I'm like, no, you're because he was like so scripted, right? I swear, like in those chat things, they have to have like a button that just pastes in, like the steps of the script so they don't have to type it, right? So but he's just like running down the script and I'm like, can I talk to a human? And he's like, I am a human. It's like, but why is your name the same as the AI? So he had a laugh about that. But then he was like, okay, well, I need you to take a picture with your phone of the Xbox screen that's got like the gift code on it for the thing, so we can like plug it into your account or whatever. So I took the picture and I sent it to him. And then he's like, oh, well, I don't have an application on my computer that can open a JPEG. So
What?
Can you convert that to a PDF?
What?
And then email it back to me. Exactly.
Bro, you're on a Windows machine, right? Like
I'm like, dude, you work for frickin' Microsoft. Microsoft makes Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is the default app that Windows will use to open.
Yeah. Wow.
But okay, so I complied because I just want my shit fixed.
Yeah.
And I converted it to a PDF and then sent it back so he could open it. And then he's like, oh yeah, we tried some stuff. It's not working. So let's wait 24 hours. And then when I'm off shift, you can call back or whatever, So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I ended up going, because for like $1, you could get a month of the Ultimate, right? To upgrade from normal PC Game Pass to Ultimate. So I spent the $1 and that converted my account. And then I went in and tried to redeem the thing for the Ultimate and it worked. So it couldn't
great.
deal. Yeah, it couldn't deal
with your existing PC sub.
Right.
That seems like weird. A flow that they should have thought of, but okay.
Yeah, but the flow was really about why can't you open this JPEG?
Yeah. Well, that's a little absurd. I know they locked down those support agents' computers so they can't get up to mischief, but that seems a little excessive.
That was
a picture.
Yeah, it was a hot meme.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to.
You weren't paying attention to what? You cut out on me.
I was not paying attention. How are we doing on time?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, we can start wrapping things up. We're doing pretty good on time. We're all really excited to be back into action with everything going on here. At least I am. It's really nice to kind of be back with the boys talking shop. But we are still running our giveaway, so 100 for 100. If we can get 100 followers here on our Discord, 100 people involved here, we'll start doing $25 gift card giveaways, one a week for 4 weeks. So tell all your friends. And yeah, it's been really good. We're really excited. Like I said, we are recording this out of order, so we still have more that we're going to be doing today to do episode number 14 here. And but
I would like to remind Microsoft that the podcast is still for sale. If you would like to acquire us.
We are happy to take your sponsorship. My headset experience aside,
We have to get acquired before the venture capital money runs out.
Despite our difficulties sometimes with Microsoft, we do still feel that you guys are doing amazing work elsewhere. I mean, Game Pass alone they just added what was it the other day? Oh, Grand Theft Auto. They just added that. So I mean, if they weren't taking in the shark cards enough now, they're going to start taking them in more soon. But yeah, no, it's a pretty good time. It's a great time to be a gamer. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. This has been episode number 15.
Yeehaw.